I had a rough time trying to get OBS to actually work for this for some reason. I think it's there's been several updates and I haven't updated yet, and I'm starting to think that maybe I need to, but there's some issues that they're having.
I was going to say that you don't have to, but I normally play with my camera on because I gesticulate a lot, and it's probably like 40% of my communication is waving my hands.
Yeah. I sometimes do my camera. The thing is, I've got like multiple other screens that I need to worry about, and I won't always be looking at a camera. That being said, if folks decide that they want to, I can definitely turn mine on.
Does people watching the stream see people on the camera?
No, I don't have the camera feeds to the stream.
All right, then I'm not hooking mine up.
Okay.
So
What,
if people are watching you, you would have?
maybe.
You'd think it would be the other way.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I was going.
Alrighty. So, welcome
Hey, if you're
everybody.
going to be on camera, you should be wearing your trench coat and hat.
There you go. Dress in character. We'll save that for next Halloween. All right. Welcome to our first actual session of Call of Cthulhu Masks of Nyarlathotep. I will undoubtedly butcher all of the Lovecraftian names, but I will do my best. As we established in our session 0, this is a horror game. That being said, we're still all here to have fun. So if anything kind of comes up to the line of something that you don't want to deal with, just let us know, and we will fade to black on that particular subject matter. So for this particular one, this is a prelude. This particular adventure is designed to let the characters get to know one another, do some investigating, meet some NPCs, and start to investigate the deeper mythos in the Cthulhu setting. It is 1921 in March 18th, to be precise. It is a Friday. The characters have recently arrived in Lima, Peru. Should be able to, so everybody should see this handout pop up on Foundry.
Yep.
So the reason why you have come to Lima for various assorted, whatever your own personal stakes are, the thing that has drawn you is this famous explorer, Augustus Larkin. He's planning an expedition to the southern highlands of Peru, where he hopes to identify the site of a pyramid long forgotten by history. Following the discovery of a number of gold artifacts in the region, he believes he has found evidence that will lead to the source. He is currently in Lima planning the expedition and has reached out to academics and put ads in newspapers and so forth to recruit people and backers for this thing. This has drawn your attention for whatever reason. It could be fame, it could be fortune. Contrary to what Professor Jones might say, there is a thriving market for lost golden treasures, and they don't necessarily all belong in museums. The city of Lima itself is it's a fairly populous city. In March, it is the tail end of summer. Because Southern Hemisphere being what it is. So the temperature generally hovers around between 17 and 25 degrees Celsius. You're in a position where it doesn't get all the rain. It's humid, but it is normally fairly dry. Even though parts of South America have rainforests, in Lima, the rainy season, which marches at the tail end of, usually means 1 or 2 rainy days in the month. So for the most part, it's blue skies, clear skies, comfortable. Those of you who are not from a climate like this will need to worry about things like sunburn and sunstroke and the like, but we're not going to worry too much about the nitty gritty of that.
Chris,
Yes.
you're describing Lima. Is that where we're starting, or are we already in the jungle? Because you kind of did
No.
both, kind of have.
You are starting in Lima.
Okay.
I will show you the second telegraph, the one that you got upon reaching out to Augustus to join the expedition. It's a telegraph that you've received. It says, "Thank you for your joining the expedition. Stop. Please join me in Lima. Stop. Have booked your room at Hotel Mori. Stop. Meet 18th March at 7 p.m. at Bar Cordano. Haran Ancast 202, Distrito de Lima. Stop." So Augustus has arranged for rooms for you at the Hotel Maori, and you are to meet with him at 7 p.m. at the Bar Cordano. Other than that, you guys can, as you're like checking into the hotel, you guys can describe one another because you have not really met. But you would have noticed the other people who do not look like, for the most part, do not look like they are natives of Peru.
Well, I would be the one that would stand out the most, I think. I am of Hispanic descent. I'm from Mexico. I'm walking around in a nice suit with expensive luggage, pulling on a cart with me. I look like I've traveled a lot, but I'm not elderly. I'm in my 40s, but I am wearing a Luce Libre mask of with several colors on it. So I'm about, I don't know, about 5'10", 5'11", about 240 pounds. So I am
You are huge in Lima.
yeah, yeah, I'm pretty big in Lima. So also my name is like most luchadors of the era. He actually does have a secret identity. He's always wearing his mask in public. Uh, so everybody recognizes him as a famous retired luchador. Anybody who would watch Mexican wrestling, I don't know if they would in Peru. Volador Guerrero is his name, which is English means flying warrior, and he's retired a few years ago and is now a silent movie action star. And that's it for him, I guess.
Okay.
At the bar, kind of with his back to a wall, is a gentleman who is fanning himself with his hat because it's pretty warm in Lima. He's got a tan trench coat on. Otherwise, he looks a little bit weather worn. Someone who is not necessarily accustomed to the nicer things and is used to having to deal with unsavory situations. He's leaning against the bar, smoking heavily, as was the norm back in the 20s, and has a small bottle of bourbon, American bourbon. Is that it?
Remember, in America, prohibition is a thing, so.
Right. So a nice bottle of fake American bourbon from Lima, in a brown bottle with a hastily scrawled on "It is bourbon" sticker on it, and otherwise drinking his drink. He again looks a little bit not necessarily worse for wear, but definitely weary of the strange faces in the crowd.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go. So, at some point early, right around the time we're asked to meet, maybe fashionably late, a large gentleman who probably dwarfs most average men of his time, well over 6.5 feet tall, maybe pushing close to 7, built like a proverbial brick S house, um, wearing a very fine suit appropriate for the period, probably a darker pinstripe. He's got dark brown hair, bright, lively blue eyes with a large nose that it looks like it's been beaten or broken many a time. Um, you can see if you look him up and down, he's got large hands that look like they're calloused. He's wearing some nice rings on them. He looks to be in his late 30s, although it looks like he's got sort of weathered features, like either he's lived a very hard, fast, rough life, or maybe he's been in a lot of fights, or maybe both. And he walks in and he sort of carries himself with this quiet confidence. Anybody who knows boxing, especially European boxing, might recognize him as having been um, known in public circles as being a champion at some point in time. And he looks around the bar and not sure if he recognizes anybody at first, although I think he might recognize his luchador friend. He goes to the bar and sees what he can order, because I'm not sure if prohibition was a thing in South America or not.
No, it's very much an American thing.
Okay, then I will go to the bar and I will order a fine hard liquor of some kind, whatever's common to the area. Might as well try what the locals drink.
Perfect.
Just as an FYI, people from Peru are very short. I mean, I'm 5'10", and I stand over like a head over all of my uncles and everyone that I've ever met from Peru. And when I visited there, people thought I was big. So just as an FYI, you guys are huge.
Nice.
It's nice to have that sort of like personal detail.
Another note is, of course, there's no TV until the 50s, but newsreel started in 1909.
Yep.
I don't know in everywhere in the world, but newsreels would be a thing in this time. So if you are a famous boxer, they might actually have heard of you. But there's no TV, and so I'm just a weird guy, unless somebody had been to Mexico, I would imagine.
Perfect.
Also, weird note: refrigeration did not come to Peru early.
No, it did not. The bar here at the hotel, and as you guys are checking in and getting your rooms, there's like a couple dozen rooms. They are well furnished. There's a very well appointed banquet room. There is an extravagantly well stocked bar.
Nice.
And they're famous for their pisco sours, which is a cocktail created by an American. So they actually have like a house specialty drink, but anything that you guys want is here, and they will look kind of askance at Alvin with his bottle, but he's a paying customer, so they don't say anything.
Sorry, I wasn't clear. I bought that bottle from the bar. I'm not going drink by drink.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Anita, why don't you describe Evelyn?
Evelyn is the exact opposite of everyone so far, apparently, because she's only 5'2". She's a Caucasian woman. Her hair is sort of cropped in a bit of a page bob. She's wearing a linen dress that comes down just past mid-calf. So kind of fashionable. Little hat. It's got an ostrich feather in it. And she walks with a cane that she seems to rely on quite a bit.
In the words of a PI, does she look like trouble?
She looks like she could be trouble if she was healthy, but she does not look healthy.
All right. Why don't we go with Dr. Carter?
Dr. Carter seems pretty acclimated to the temperature, contrary to our detective friend. It seems not to be his first time in a place like this. Pretty thin man, tall-ish, with a very well trimmed mustache. He looks like he take quite care of himself, even if right now he's wearing tall leather boots and clothing more depth for exploration than for a classy meeting. He's still well put and has taken great care on being presentable even in his exploring garb. He's checking in at the desk at the hotel, smoking from his pipe, scanning around. Interesting particularity. He has a small monkey perched on his shoulder, who is currently eating a piece of fruit. Uh, his skin seems to be a bit tanned by the sun and exposure to the element, but otherwise not much scar or bruise of the kind of some of our fellow. Um, he's probably gonna go mingle once the check-in is done. Speak lightly with people and probably ask for Boxer and Luchador for autograph when he gets to speak with them.
Perfect. All right, and Luther.
All right. Luther Pratt, Captain Luther Pratt, is wearing his fighter leather jacket that is synonymous with fighter pilots from World War One. He's got his cap. It's got his badge of whatever air wing that he was part of. Probably with the British. I think in World War One, it was mostly the British that were doing fighter pilot stuff. He's not a big man. He's probably 5'8", 5'9", maybe 160 pounds, soaking wet. Um, he's a relatively young looking fellow, but his eyes are very, very old. There's a wisdom or damage to when you look at him. This is not a kid, even though he's only 26. Um, and he's probably currently at the bar arguing, or at the either the bar or the front desk, trying to have a discussion explaining why he needs a particular table or a particular room, depending on the circumstance. Where one's closer to an exit, or one gives better sight lines, or like the narrative that he would be spitting out is tactical based crazy stuff that people shouldn't be worried about for the most part.
Perfect. All right. So you guys all get checked in at the hotel. Get your stuff sorted away. By the time you get everything kind of sorted away, situated, collect some autographs, have a drink after what for some of you was probably a fairly lengthy sea voyage. And you know that you're supposed to meet at the Bar Cordano at 7 p.m. Having checked out the area, the bar itself is not terribly far from your hotel.
Just to confirm, we're all staying in the same hotel that was in the listing.
You are Hotel Maori.
So
That's right.
sorry, are we at the hotel bar, or are we at the bar we're supposed to be at?
Just so everybody could describe their characters. Everybody checked into the hotel, and then at around 7 o'clock, you make your way the 2 or 3 blocks to the bar.
Gotcha.
So you'll see on this map there's a little inset of Lima that will show you where different things are. The district that you're in is not terribly big. Like from your hotel, which is number 4, to the bar, which is number 2, it's like a 5-minute walk.
All right. When I go to the bar, I'll have a little briefcase with me, and inside the briefcase is a few things, but most importantly, there's about 20 to 30 pre-autographed 8x10 photos, black and white.
Okay. All right. So 7 p.m., March 18th, 1921. The restaurant / bar, the Bar Cordano, is tastefully furnished. It has wooden panel, quite a few wooden fixtures, tiled floor. There's a few people here. There's a little kind of like a little jazz band playing like soft dinner music. Like it's upscale but touristy.
It feels like Chicago, is what you're saying.
It feels like somebody visited Chicago once and while drunk had a vague memory as to what they had seen.
Okay, no problem.
You check in with the maitre d kind of individually, asking for Mr. Larkin's table, and you're directed to a table near the kind of the back of the restaurant, kind of out of the way of any traffic or anybody that might be coming in. As
Chris?
yes.
As we're going to the table, or when I introduce myself or the table, or when they start pointing me out, I ask immediately for a closed bottle of alcohol, the entire bottle, and then I will pay for it even before I step into the table. So when I go to the table, I have a closed bottle of alcohol.
Okay, perfect. They definitely do that for you. And they don't actually charge you for it. Apparently, whatever once you drop Larkin's name, from that point on, everything is on his tab.
Nice.
So at this table, there are 3 men seated already. One of them is a kind of thin-looking, really kind of pale-looking, as opposed to Caucasian gentleman. Despite the heat, he's wearing the full linen suit, sweating a fair bit. Obviously uncomfortable, but still wearing this attire. There's also a gentleman that looks like he's of Hispanic descent, not South American, but actually Spanish. Very kind of drawn features, kind of his hair looks like when he bathes or showers, he doesn't really clean his hair all that well. Just kind of looks like a very rough character. And an African American gentleman who's smoking on a pipe and seems to be regaling them with some tales regarding Baba Yaga and the mythology behind the Slavic witch. Luther, you recognize that gentleman as Jackson Elias. And as you approach the gentleman you assume to be Larkin, the kind of sickly looking fellow, kind of stands, since there's a woman present. Says, thank you for meeting us. I'm glad the telegram found you. I am Augustus Larkin. I will be your expedition leader. This is my assistant, Louis de Mendoza, and this is an American folklorist named Jesse Hughes. Please have a seat. We were just about to order. I recommend the fish. It is a house specialty, very fresh. And as he sits again, you guys notice that even though Jesse, the African American gentleman, is going on about the truth behind the legends of Baba Yaga and that sort of thing, he seems to be keeping a very careful eye on the assistant, on De Mendoza, and you can tell there's like a coldness there at that table.
De Mendoza is the tour guide, Jesse Hughes is the folklorist, and Jackson Elias is the leader?
No, Larkin is the leader. He's the kind of pasty guy. De Mendoza is the assistant, and Jesse Hughes, who only Luther recognizes as Jackson Elias, is the folklorist.
Okay, so Jackson Elias and Jesse Hughes are the same person.
Yeah.
I was going to say that didn't align with the name that you gave me before.
Yep.
Sorry.
Luther, you are aware that for whatever reason he has given these people a false name.
What's
That's
Larkin's
fine.
first name?
Augustus.
All right. Trying to keep notes.
Yep.
Sorry, what was the assistant's name again?
Luis de Mendoza.
Are you keeping notes? Oh, I don't have to, Anita?
I'm keeping some notes.
All right.
I don't know how useful they're going to be, so please do keep notes because
All
depending on my homework, I won't be keeping notes.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Chris, Alvin's going to order the fish, and he will pour himself alcohol from his bottle, and will only drink anything that comes out of his bottle.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, Augustus notices and says, "Oh, smart man."
You don't know what's in the water out here.
That is very true. When we first arrived here, I was not prepared for the ferocity with which the waterborne illnesses can strike. Since then, I've been sticking to primarily. They make a surprisingly good rum here, but
I haven't tried it yet.
a sealed bottle though is smart. Welcome. I don't know what exactly you know of our planned expedition, but we can discuss that over dinner. Feel free to order whatever you like. I'm footing the tab for this. If you have any questions about the expedition, by all means, ask them, and I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. And hopefully, we will be successful in our endeavors. And I'll find either fame or fortune, whichever pleases you.
Yeah, so Luther grabs a chair, kind of flips it around, sits like with the back of the chair facing his front,
Okay.
probably at the end of a table, close to a window, spending a lot of time looking around, taking notes of exits and who's moving where, and not terribly interested in the conversation, but seems a little more interested on how he could get the hell out of here if he had to.
Okay.
So how long is this trip?
It will probably be several weeks. I've hired some trucks to transport us and equipment to the city of Puna on the other side of the Andes, and from there we will secure mounts, pack animals to make our way into the highlands towards where I believe the pyramid to be.
May I inquire on what kind of clues did you find to locate the approximate position of that pyramid, if I may? Kind of curious on your path over there.
I'm a explorer of some reputation, and a few months back I bought some interesting items from an alpaca farmer up near Puno. He claims his grandfather recovered them from tunnels underneath a pyramid high in the mountains. The grandfather never returned to the site because older gentlemen can be very superstitious. But he did tell his family that there were other treasures there. Well, the farmer's description was vague at best. My subsequent research has given me enough detail to narrow it down to make an expedition viable. And as he's talking, he kind of reaches down into a case and he pulls out two items. These are the items that I purchased from the farmer. And one of them is a pendant in the form of a man holding two rods, or maybe staves. And the other is a golden cup carved with geometrical patterns and circles inlaid with turquoise. Anybody who would like to can give me an archaeology roll.
And as they're making rolls, Chris, as he reaches in to pull something out, the observant of the group would notice that Luther would be like reaching towards his pistol as hip, not like going for it, but like establishing that paranoia sort of personality.
For sure. And since you're keeping an eye out there, Luther, you can give me a psychology roll.
Oh, I'm sure he's good at that.
I'll ask to observe the object more closely if you will allow me.
Certainly, I'll hand it over.
Okay, first roll, psychology, regular roll call, regular bonus dice, nothing, just hit the roll button, eh?
Yep.
10% chance.
Hey. Right. So you're kind of keeping your eye up there, Luther. Nothing strikes you as being out of the ordinary.
Chris,
Yep.
I'm going to engage our lead here and say these look a little familiar. I hear that they've been passed around, or there are other relics as well. Are we expecting other people to have gotten there first? Other people to be racing us there?
I don't believe so. It took significant digging on my part to find the location of the pyramid, and I don't think anyone is ahead of us on this, but this is why we move out on Monday. Because the fact is, word does get around, as I'm sure you're aware. And there's a reason I've brought along Mr. De Mendoza to help secure both myself and these items.
Well, it looks like he's not the only tough guy you brought along. I look around the table.
The land can be rugged, and the people there are superstitious. Anyone who can carry a pack and can fight is definitely an asset to the expedition. Right. And Dr. Carter, as you examine these two pieces are from distinctly different time periods. The pendant resembles something from a civilization known as the Tiwanaku, which is a pre-Columbian site in Bolivia, close to the Peru border, probably dating to the 5th century.
Tawanaku?
Tiwanaku, Tiwanaku. But the bowl, the bowl with the turquoise inlay, is of Incan design, probably from the 15th century.
And the pendant was from which century?
The 5th. But to your your thoughts there, Mr. Sharp. If these artifacts are but a small sampling as to what might be there, if we do arrive first, and he kind of knocks on the table, the impact this could have on academic standing or personal pocketbooks, whichever way you may wish to go, would be tremendous. So I do certainly hope that we get there first.
Well, I'm here for a lead, but who's gonna turn their nose to a bunch of gold, right?
Exactly.
I'm here for the fame.
There's a huge gap historically between those two objects. The implication historic-wise could be tremendous. I'm really curious what could have brought those two together. But I'm sure this site will be of tremendous interest.
That's I find things. I don't pretend to be any sort of scholar, so your insight is most appreciative.
I really those pieces are clearly of great value. I'm just open that the story that was brought to you is of reputable nature, because those two objects could have been taken from very, very different site and brought together. It doesn't make much sense for them to be together unless that site has been undisturbed for like 10th century, which would be very impressive and would let us find a lot about those time period.
Let me tell you one thing, Poindexter. People like to steal things. So if these are far apart in time as you said, who's to say that one didn't steal it from the other?
Oh, definitely. I'm just wondering if those were stolen by one of those two, or if they were stolen afterward and brought together somewhere else. Are we looking at the cage of a more recent thief, or as a conquered ord? That's what I'm wondering.
Quick question. What language? Quick question. What language is everybody speaking right now?
I'm guessing probably English.
Because I don't have English on my character sheet.
In that case, Jesse will translate for you.
What language
As
do
long
you
as he
speak?
speaks Italian, yeah, perfect.
He does.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm speaking English with the people around me, but the wait staff, I'm speaking Spanish because I think that's what they speak in Peru.
For the game purposes, yes.
I was speaking in English.
Can we
I
say
also
American?
understand. I also understand French and German because Swiss.
Perfect. And Larkin himself has a little bit of an accent that's hard to pin down.
Riley.
No.
84% of Peruvians speak Spanish. All right, I'm speaking Spanish.
Perfect. So you find that you do get good attention from the wait staff because they're used to dealing with people who do not speak in their native language.
Yeah, I'm asking, is the fish really good or should I order something else?
They tell you that the fish is very good, but it is both sour and spicy and a little bit sweet. And
Perfect.
it's something that most Americans can't quite handle. And then they kind
Are
of
they
smile.
are they
Then
serving us
machismo
ceviche?
insists that I have to order it.
Sorry, what was that?
Are they serving us ceviche?
No, they are not.
Okay.
No, this is actually cooked and not just acidified. So time passes. If you guys have any other questions about the expedition, by all means, feel free to ask. Otherwise, it's a lot of just kind of a lot of small talk and talking about the treasures that they hope to find. Um, you know that sort of everybody seems to be in that kind of like that good spirit sort of thing, except for De Mendoza, who just sits there like stone silent the whole time. Um, Even like if he's directly addressed, it's a very blunt, like one maybe 2 word answer, only in Spanish.
Yeah, Luther will spend his time, eating his meals, sitting in his chair like an idiot because he's an idiot. Um, but he'll, occasionally look over to who he sees as Jackson, Jesse. Just every once in a while, he just kind of look over, raise an eyebrow, go back to his meal. I mean, he's no spy, right? So
Yeah. And Elias will kind of catch your eye, and he gives like just the very slightest of nods.
he'll give a same kind of nod, just that little, just slight incline of the head. But he's Luthor's spending most of his time just paying attention, looking around, making sure there's a way out if something goes to shit. He's a war vet. So.
Chris,
Yep.
Alvin asks a bunch of probing questions during the dinner. He seems, and just as information that everyone gets, he seems less interested in the potential haul because he sees that as that he sees that as a pipe dream. But he mentions a few times that he's looking for someone, and that becomes fairly obvious when he starts asking about like who knew about this, who could know about this, is anyone else moving any of their stuff, and that kind of stuff. He seems to be more interested in the in everything around the expedition and who was involved around the expedition as opposed to the expedition itself.
Gotcha. Give me a psychology roll.
Psychology tab. Where's my character sheet again? I just closed it. Oh wait, hold on. If I click on me, did I disconnect or was that you guys?
Nope.
Okay.
Still here.
Why is it not letting me use T that brings up my character sheet?
C.
C. It's not bringing up my character sheet. Shift C. Okay, I'm gonna go pull it out of the investigators. Here we go.
Here, I'll drop it onto the map. You should
I
be
got
able
it.
to
I
click.
got it. I got it.
I got
Yeah. Psychology is a science, I guess.
It's a skill.
It's okay. It's under pilot for some reason.
Alphabetical.
Regular roll.
Right. As you're talking, Larkin seems. He doesn't necessarily seem evasive, but he doesn't answer any of your more probing questions.
That's fair, Chris. It wasn't to actually gain information; it was to share to the table
Yeah.
all the other people. The questions that he's asking, he's clearly less interested in the
Yeah, for sure.
in the thing.
Dr. Carter is going to ask a bunch of questions to make sure that the expedition is well organized and archaeologically sound. It's not his first dig site, and it's going to show through the conversation, and we'll probably not notice lots of the little social cue that people have given. He's just focused on the mission.
Perfect. So to Dr. Carter, the expedition seems to be fairly well organized. This is not Larkin's first expedition either. He's arranged for trucks and transport to take you to the city of Puna. Once there, he's going to get some pack animals, fresh food, and then the journey to the pyramid should take about 4 days across country. He's also laying in part of the supplies that he's picking up here in Lima are cold weather gear, because as you get higher and higher up in the mountains and up into the Andes, the temperature is going to drop. Like he's thought of things. But along that lines, he does tell you that between now and Monday, if there's anything that you feel you need to acquire for the expedition, get receipts, and we will make sure that you're reimbursed.
All right.
And once we arrive at the pyramid, we expect to spend a couple of days examining the site, recovering any items of archaeological interest, doing things in as safe a manner as possible.
Are we going to any territory which could harvest hostile?
I don't believe so. There are some. No, there shouldn't be anything hostile. But
I assume possible fauna.
That's always a danger. And he'll look at the hired muscle that's sitting around the table and say, like, yeah, we can take care of that, and I plan to bring some hunting rifles as well, just in case.
Yeah, I brought my own just in case, but to know if I keep the case locked or if I keep it on my person.
Whichever makes you feel more comfortable.
Good.
I don't believe it's big cat territory, but better safe than sorry for sure.
We had some expedition in the jungle, and well, I grew accustomed to keeping it on me.
For sure. And as the evening progresses, after dinner, Larkin kind of gets his feet, and he's a little bit unsteady. Seems to be noticeably paler, sweating a fair bit. And you guys all of you actually can make a medicine roll.
We need to take one for Anita too.
What?
You
Let's
look ill
go
too, right?
1%.
Oh, yes. Yes, she does.
And where's medicine? Oh, this is alphabetical.
Yep.
I had a solid 1% chance on it.
You and me
Hey,
both.
imagine the doctor made it.
This is where we find out if anybody put points into medicine, because so far it looks like no.
I put a lot into first aid. I put a lot into first aid.
The same.
I put nothing in either.
First aid is not medicine, apparently.
It is not. First aid is, oh my god, this person's going to die now.
I don't think I did.
Seems like a game you need first aid in.
I might have. It's hard to tell.
So just waiting for the roll from Dr. Carter. Where we find out, is he a doctor or does he just claim he is?
Come on, Doc, you got this. No, you don't.
Nope. All right. So we've established that nobody in the group has points in medicine. All right. Good news. You'll notice
Okay.
here on the map of Lima, number 6 is the hospital.
That is good to know.
I'm not that kind of doctor.
And there's the tagline.
Well, it's gonna be a whole lot of, look, doctor, do something. I'm not that kind of doctor.
All right. So Larkin gets up. He does seem to be a little bit unsteady on his feet, and he's sweating quite profusely. And there's a bit of an off odor about him as he sweats more and more. It's like something that goes beyond just normal body odor.
Give us some space.
I'm going to very delicately bring my napkin to my nose to try to block some of that out.
Does he smell like the alcohol sweats? Do you know what I mean?
Very similar, yes.
I've been around drunks before, so I figure just a drunk.
All right. So he gets to leave. Di Mendoza goes with them. Jesse stays behind and kind of very subtly kind of motions for you guys to stay for a second. And he says, "We'll see you on Monday there, Mr. Larkin. I'm just gonna. It's been a long time since I talked to fellow Americans, so we're just gonna have a few drinks, right?" He orders around for everybody.
All right. Dos cerveza, por favor.
And once Di Mendoza has escorted Larkin away, Jesse will he'll look over at Luther and say, like, thanks for not giving, thanks for not calling out my name there. It's appreciated.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, anything about this strike you guys is a little off?
About all of it.
Okay, so it's not just me then.
Nope.
Have some insight or
The feeling more than anything.
Let me put it this way. I'm here looking for someone. He's missing. He was also looking for something around those parts.
And that kind of ties into to what I've been researching in my time here. It's like and he'll look over and he suddenly realizes that Luther's the only one who knows this. My name's Jackson Elias. I'm a writer by trade.
He's a pain in the ass, but he's a good pain in the ass.
Maybe sometimes when I got a couple of drinks in me, but I mean, those guys are asking for it. Wait, which time are you talking about?
I stand by my statement.
We don't. That's not too interesting. I reach over and pour him some alcohol, which apparently is some form of tequila, into a cup he's holding. Tell me more about what you think you know about these missing people.
All right. So I was. So my first book that I wrote was about the resurgence of the Tuggy Celt in India, and
When he says that, I look around the table just to. I just want to make sure I'm not the only one who has no idea what he's talking about.
does anybody actually have points in anthropology?
Luther's probably just rolling his eyes.
Yes.
Oh God, here we go.
I do.
So those of you with points in anthropology should be aware that the Tuggy cult is a death cult in India, thought to be stamped out by the British during their colonization of India. But and now that you think about it, Evelyn, you've probably read his book, and he's good.
Oh.
So while I was researching that, I got a lead on a death cult of sorts called the Karasiri, operating in Peru.
Cult of Siri?
Karasiri. KHARISIRI. So I researched them back in New York before heading to Peru. And much like other death cults that I've researched, there's legends about them. They're described as white-faced men who eat the fat of innocent farmers and their families in the highlands. You know how these things are, legends being what they are. You know, behind every legend is a truth, right? So what little I could find was fanciful conjecture. But I did find stories of contemporary accounts of murder and mutilation in the locales where these Karasiri were active. So I thought maybe there's a book here. Maybe some sort of maybe some sort of pagan ritual at the root of the tales, you know, taking choice body parts from their victims to sacrifice to their gods. Some sort of human sacrifice.
People read this stuff?
Yes.
Yes. The fact that the Karasari are specifically in the legends and the folklore described as white-faced, and I can't find any records of them prior to the arrival of the conquistadors in the 16th century. So my hook for the book is maybe there's some sort of death cult that arrived with the Spaniards that survived to the modern day. At least that's what I told my editor. He thought it was a great idea. So I came to Peru, spent 4 months in the highlands up near Lake Titicaca. Met the local people, wonderful woman named Narya, researching the stories. And the people there, they don't see these as history. For a lot of the people up there, a lot of the farmers and the shepherds and the llama farmers, this is a very real thing to them. I don't.
White-faced killers roaming the highlands is a real thing to them, and it has not been dealt with.
That's the thing with cults, right? But while I was talking to the locals, they warned me about a man named Luis de Mendoza, someone who is to be feared. Um, and I haven't been able to find any proof or anything, but his name came up when I was researching this death cult. I followed him around Puna. I learned that he was connected with Mr. Larkin. Then I found out about Larkin's plan to find and explore this lost pyramid.
Wait, so hold on a second. The potential serial killer is working with our adventuring lead, archaeologist lead, to take us into the dark parts of a forest looking for something he says is there.
You meet cannibals.
Um, you're mostly correct there, except I don't think it's a serial killer. I think it's a cult of killers.
Oh, sorry. More than one. Let me write that down.
So that's what I'm doing here. I'm hoping that, I mean, if there's a cult, if there's a cult operating, if there's a death cult that has somehow survived in the Peruvian highlands for hundreds of years, they need to have a base of operations. And so maybe this pyramid is it. As far as I know, they're not onto me. And Luther, thank you for playing along there. Deeply appreciated. But so yeah, that's kind of my story. I mean, I've got a couple of other things that I need to follow up on, but I mean,
So as far as I could tell, you write books that try to get me killed while you're doing it.
well, yeah, you're still
You have
alive.
a long history of that?
Not a long history.
Well, I appreciate you sharing with us before we embark on this journey about your suspicions of the person organizing it. I pour him another glass.
Well, thank you kindly. And he pulls out like a little notebook. It's like, so you said you were looking for somebody. I do know that Larkin he's tried to convince a couple of other people to explore the pyramid, locals primarily, but hasn't been able to get any of them because
No one local is stupid enough to go out to the death cult area.
well, I mean, I didn't want to say that outright, but I mean, these people are superstitious.
Well, Joe was stupid, so he probably followed him in.
So maybe. And there's a contact of mine, Professor Sanchez, at the National University in San Marcos, just a couple blocks over. He heard about the exhibition and was eager to sign up. He's a professor of anthropology, very well known in his field locally. But Larkin has so far ignored his request to join. And I'm like, would you kind of want an expert with you if you were? But so I'm supposed to meet with Professor Sanchez tomorrow.
Well, we have some time before we head out. We might as well meet him too, right?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't think they're onto me, but I'm trying to keep things a little bit, kind of on the down low. But I assume that something about this just doesn't feel right. I don't necessarily know if they're walking us into a trap or what, but
Are they? Is this doctor meeting you here?
He's over at the university.
So you want to go out to the university and speak to him?
Yep. Yeah, on your map of Lima here, the university is right there. It's like 2 blocks from your hotel.
Do you happen to know where this pyramid is that we're heading to?
I don't.
I mean, if people knew where it was, you wouldn't be leading an expedition there, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if my theory is right, if this is the headquarters for some sort of death cult, anybody who does know of its existence probably is in a position to talk about it.
I'm just thinking if we show our hand assisting you with this interview or whatever it is and get kicked off this expedition, how are we going to find this pyramid?
I don't know. We might be able to track down some information in Puna. Narya, she's a wise woman. She knows the hills. She's the one that kind of led me to these two. I think she knows more than she lets on, but when you get to a fairly small town and you start talking to the wise people, they're always about 4 steps ahead of you, right?
I don't suppose anyone has a plane.
Not my back pocket.
No.
How's that going to help us?
Planes go faster than goats or camels, whatever they drive around here.
The land in the jungle, though.
Yeah, and you might have a hard time getting over the mountains.
They can land once.
True. You can land once.
Long walk
Guaranteed.
back.
Long, uncomfortable walk back.
Look, if we go visit the sites, like, I don't know, and the Museum of Archaeology, what's to say who we run into there and who we chat up a conversation with?
I like the way you think.
I mean, you're local enough to give us a tour of the museum.
Well, if we're going to on an archaeological expedition, it would behoove us to at least have a passing familiarity with the style of artifacts one might be expected to find.
Absolutely.
And we're goddamn tourists. He'll do the little sign of the cross after he curses. Fair enough.
Does anyone want to stay here instead? I mean, we might be walking into death cult cannibals who are white-faced. And what else do my notes say here as he flips over? Oh, also come from a long line of descendants from the original colonization, right? So I'm interested in going to this archaeological museum. Chris, it is a museum, right? Not a...
It is a museum at the university.
Okay. Oh, it's a university. Sorry, I was just looking at the map.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out what number 5 was.
Yeah, it is the Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology at the university.
Fantastic.
Do you know if the university has a library?
It does. An extensive one.
And would anyone be able to peruse the volumes within?
I don't believe it's open to the public, but a member of the staff could certainly escort you.
I might be able to pull the few string as a professor from a fellow university. Maybe I can convince them for research that it would be of our best interest to share.
I've got the best influence here. He pulls out a $1 US currency. It's like, it'll open doors for you here.
That's actually worth a fair bit here.
Exactly.
Good to know. I'll try to keep that in mind.
He slides over a single dollar over. Here you go, doll.
Awesome.
She takes it.
We're sitting next to Humphrey Bogart.
All right. Well, I'm gonna retire for the evening. Are you guys at the Maori or are you guys at the España?
We're at the Maori.
Me too.
Well, then we can all go together.
Hmm.
Well, that's great, Mr. Hughes. Maybe you can pop over to my room before we go to bed.
Sure.
Oh.
The hotel seemed like it was super full to you when you guys were there.
I really wasn't checking.
Chris, I'm an observant fellow.
Not so much.
It didn't seem like there's dozens of rooms at the Maori. So it didn't seem like it was overly full.
I mean, didn't look empty, but it definitely wasn't full.
Because Larkin and Mendoza are staying at the España. And when I asked them why we weren't all staying at the same hotel, they said that there was no room. Just, one of those other little things that kind of tickles at the back of your brain, right?
Huh.
But knowing that we're all staying at the same hotel does mean I'll probably sleep a little bit better tonight. And he'll kind of look over at your two kind of muscle-bound figures. He's like, I think I've seen both of you on the newsreels.
If you were in Peru, you might have actually, where Spanish is the national language, you might have actually seen one of my movies.
I don't go to the pictures much, but I've definitely seen newsreels though. And a friend of mine writes the sport beat for New York. I think we've covered some of your fights too. He kind of gestures to Salvador. Like, I feel better about things now. Oddly comforting.
If anybody looks towards Salvatore, since he doesn't understand a word of any of this, he just smiles politely and holds up his drink.
Yeah. And Jackson will translate for you throughout the conversation.
Oh, I thought it was the guy who left who translates only.
He was doing some, and then Jackson will also translate for you.
Oh, okay. So I was worried I was just here, like, okay.
It's looking pretty.
Exactly. Looking pretty, eating a steak and drinking.
Yeah. It's like, but if you wish to accompany me to the museum tomorrow to meet Professor Sanchez, you're certainly welcome to.
Well, I think that would be a good idea.
All right. And then he gets up and he doesn't leave anything for a tip or anything. It's not customary outside of America. And Larkin is footing the bill, so he just kind of gets up and puts on his hat and lights his pipe.
I'll have to check my bags and see if I have a copy of your book with me.
Oh, I certainly hope so. Perhaps if this pans out, I'll put your names in the dedication of the next one,
Please
That would
don't.
be so kind of you.
or not, as the case may be. I'll just say mysterious stranger. How's that? That is, of course, assuming that your friend here is incorrect, and we actually do not run into bloodthirsty conquistador descendant cannibals in the jungles.
That does seem a bit far-fetched, doesn't it?
When you put it like that, yeah,
It would make for a good book, though.
absolutely. And really, until I started really researching it in India, I never thought that I would encounter a group of assassin Kali worshippers either. So every day's an adventure, right?
That's
Here's
the
hoping.
theory.
All right. And you guys can make your way to your hotel. And yes, Luther, he will meet up with you before everybody goes to bed.
Considering what has been said tonight, Dr. Carter's gonna get to his room and get his rifle out and make sure to clean it and service it to make sure it's in its best functional order.
Okay.
Yes, and Volador is going to ask the concierge who knows how to get everything a hotel concierge who knows how to get everything to get him a revolver.
Okay. I can do that.
Such dangerous people.
Hey, I've lived in Mexico. We've had been a revolution going on for 10 years. It just finished.
Everybody's
true.
got a gun. It's like the U.S.
Everybody's got a gun. I didn't bring it on the airplane when I flew here.
Right. Perfect. So is anybody else doing anything other than acquiring a handgun before turning in for the evening?
I'm checking to see if I have a copy of the book with me.
Make a luck roll.
Oh no. What could possibly go wrong? It's only a book. I have to find my luck. Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, doing well.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Oh,
you do have a copy of it.
that will be my luck for the entire campaign.
it's already signed.
I
There's
mean, it could
highlights on
be.
the important bits.
It was a gift from my brother, so it might be already signed.
This is going to be one
If
of
it
those.
isn't, it's going to be tomorrow.
You succeeded your luck roll. Lose some luck.
And that is a note actually for some skills. You'll probably get a pop-up that says, "Do you wish to spend luck to turn this into a success?" I don't think it does it if there's no possibility of spending enough luck. So for those who rolled like a 59 on a 1% chance. But just bear in mind that you can spend luck to succeed at rolls if you really need to.
It's like Karma and Marvel.
Like Karma and Marvel.
Except that it doesn't come back.
It doesn't refresh automatically, but at the end of each session, you get to make a roll to see if you gain any luck. So at the end of every session, you're going to make a roll. If you roll higher than your current luck, your luck will increase by a d10.
Okay, I get you.
Chris, sorry, I missed the last 2 minutes right before the book comment.
Yep.
We're turning in for the night. We're not getting equipment or anything like that, right?
Some people are getting the concierge to acquire a handgun for them. If there's anything that you want to get, I'm pretty hand wavy with equipment.
Mhm.
Just because Call of Cthulhu isn't that sort of game, but if there's something very specific that you want, you can probably acquire it. Lima is a major city.
Yeah. I don't know if it was easy to carry a gun across the border. If it wasn't, I need one.
Yep.
If it was, I have my handgun. What I need is a handful more bullets. And someone said something about fauna. Just the question is, I do want to get my hands on a rifle for animals, and I'm more curious about what kind of round stops the kind of animals that are around here, right? I don't.
Okay.
My character didn't know if there's elephants roaming in Peru or whatever, right? So
So basically, most people who are traveling will either get a hunting rifle, like a bolt action rifle, or a shotgun. And as far as ammunition, I assume that you have ammunition for your guns, unless it's a critical moment, in which case I might say, you're out. We're not gonna count bullets beyond the fact that your guns, like revolvers, hold 6 shots. So if you fire all 6, you'll need to reload. But we're not going to say you've got 22 bullets. Oh, now you've only got 19. We're not going to worry about that sort of nitty gritty bookkeeping.
100%.
That's a Twilight 2K thing.
Yeah. With that being said, if you come across like magic bullets, those will be tracked.
Can I buy magic bullets?
No.
Okay, check.
All right. So Luther, you wanted to meet up with Jackson?
Yeah, in his room.
Yep.
So we haven't really drastically explored his background, but we'll do a little scene.
Yep.
Mr. Hughes.
Elias, please.
Elias. I need just one little bit of assurance that you're not doing the thing that you did last time.
Researching a book that's going to get me famous and rich.
Getting me flying you around various countries to get me killed while you're getting rich and famous.
No, we're as far as I know, this cult is contained mainly to this country, possibly Bolivia, maybe Spain.
That's a little more extensive than I expected.
Eh. On the plus side, if I need you to fly me to Spain, that's not happening because that's quite the distance. It'll be fine. And really, I need somebody I trust more than I need a pilot.
Listen, now, you and me, we've been through some stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're alluding that after this meeting, everything's not on the up and up.
Yeah, there's something fishy here.
So I think we need a safe word.
All right.
Like a word that you could just, bring out in conversation. Let me know there's trouble.
Gotcha.
Do you have a safe word?
How about Pipsqueak?
Pipsqueak.
Yeah, that could be like, oh, I don't have to worry about him. He's just a Pipsqueak.
All right. Well, okay. If you drop Pipsqueak, I'm gonna assume like things are bad. Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
And if you screw me on this, I'm not gonna be very happy.
No, I'll put you in. Hey, can I use you in my book?
No.
Can I use a character loosely based on you in my book?
As long as it's more handsome than I am.
That's not difficult.
I could shoot you right now, and
I could get that guy with the mask to pose for pictures. That's better looking than your face.
really, this is what we're doing.
Well, you know.
He's bigger. I get it.
But
Listen,
yeah. What?
Well, I got your back.
Okay.
I will back you because we've done some stuff. But I mean, just if there's a pipsqueak, let me know. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Don't get dead before now and tomorrow morning.
Well, I got a book to write.
Well, you can write a book and get dead. Trust me, I've seen lots of people get dead.
Yeah. Well, I don't intend to.
Do you want to stay here? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you want me to stay over at your spot or?
No, I'll be fine.
All right, just don't be stupid. You're good at stupid.
I learned some things. I mean, after those assassins tried to kill me in India, I learned the importance of barring my door.
Killed us in India, if I remember.
Yeah. Me, us. If you're not in the book, then it's not in us.
Get out of my room.
Fine.
Just take care of yourself.
You too.
And I'm going to bolt the shit out of this door.
Okay.
The best way to take care of yourself would not be hanging around with that guy.
Bolt the door, open the window, sleep in the fire escape. I got you.
Alrighty. Is
They
there
don't have
anything
fire
else?
escapes in the 20.
Only in New York.
Is there anything else anybody wants to do before turning in for the evening?
Nope. But
I'm going to make sure that I have the book stashed away in my bag for tomorrow and take a healthy dose of pain medication before going to bed.
Okay.
Or maybe an unhealthy dose of pain medication.
I want to pack something with enough proof in it that if I have to drink water, I can mix it in there and it'll kill everything in there.
Okay.
As long as the concierge is going to have a revolver and plenty of ammo for me tomorrow, I will be pretty happy. That's all I need for tonight.
He will. All right. Night passes without incident.
Lies. This is called.
Do not get used to that, but for the time being.
Nothing makes players
Is
suspicious
waking
faster.
is waking up without any nightmares a sanity check?
No, the nightmares will come later.
That's the joy of Call of Cthulhu, right? Like the night goes uneventfully, and everybody's like, "No, I don't believe you."
On day one, it might go uneventfully.
Yeah.
It increases the tension as time goes on.
That's true.
So you guys get up in the morning. There is a very nicely furnished restaurant here in the hotel. They have like American style breakfast, and then they also have like more local fare depending on what you're in the mood for. There is coffee.
Oh,
Oh, good.
The coffee is good. It is strong. It's already like a fairly nice day out. You know, sun is shining, blue sky, people out going about their business. The concierge has gotten you a pistol for
Yes.
Volador. I
I will
added
tip
that
him a full $1.
added it onto your character sheet.
You're the best.
It's going to cost you $50.
Can I
But
afford it?
yeah, you have a spending level of 50, which means as long as you do not spend more than $50 a day, you don't have to dip into your actual cash or anything.
All right. Does that include the tip?
That includes the tip.
Perfect.
And yes, so for those of you who wish to purchase anything, on your character sheet under the gear and cash, spending level is your daily limit. As long as you spend less than that per day, you don't have to do anything. Cash is how much actual cash you have easy access to. And assets, you'll see there's a place for details. Assets represent things like your car, your house, your apartment, your office, all that sort of thing. You have things that total that amount in assets, and if things get dire, you may need to sell off some assets, in which case you reduce your assets and increase your cash. We'll worry about that if it comes to it. All you guys need to know right now is most of your expenditures are covered by the expedition.
Just a quick question systemically.
Yep.
Is your spending level related to your credit rating, or are
It
those
is.
separate things? Okay.
It is, yeah.
So I thought I spent points in my credit rating, and my spend level is 10.
Yep. $10 a day is a lot of money in 1920.
sure is.
Mm-hmm.
So if I drop $2,000 of assets on Babe Ruth rookie cards,
You would have to have a time machine to justify it.
right?
Your grandchildren will be very happy.
And you just have to survive long enough for them to actually be worth anything.
But
Mm.
during the
Just-
Depression, nobody
Probably
knew
not gonna have
shit about baseball cards being expensive one day.
Yeah.
Can you
And-
imagine what that's worth, though?
And, you have to make sure the world doesn't end.
Oh yeah.
So, see, now you're invested because if the world ends, those cards are worth nothing. All right. So you guys can tour around Lima for the morning. Elias's appointment with Dr. Sanchez, Professor Sanchez, is at 2:00 in the afternoon. So you guys can just basically mill about Lima, get a lay of the land. It's a very nice, very pleasant city. A little bit crowded, but nothing out of the ordinary. Kind of stay in the kind of local to the hotel area. The museum, we're just going to fast forward till 2:00 unless anybody has anything pressing they want to do in the morning.
Nothing
Well-
pressing, but I do want to try to gather the people who we met last night, these people, the party,
Okay,
to have breakfast together.
perfect.
That's it. So we can chit chat or whatever. I'm just trying to get you guys around a table for breakfast to
Yeah, breakfast is
keep
good.
an eye on everyone. Make sure I know vaguely where you guys are.
I'm gonna order the local breakfast with a cup of tea and share my breakfast with Alexander, who's keeping himself on my shoulder.
Perfect. Are you inviting Elias to the breakfast so he can translate, or does anybody else speak Italian, or
I have
German or French?
I can help with German and French.
Perfect. So you could translate for Salvatore then.
Yes. I'll explain that I'm originally from Swiss, the Swiss Alps, so I can help with the translation if German or French is easier for you. I do not speak Spanish though.
I mean, I only speak American.
Oh, don't
Sadly,
worry.
so
You
do
know this.
I.
Yep.
Yep. So basically, if you've got a skill of 10%, then basically with time, you guys can communicate. So I think Salvatore has German and French both at 10%. So
So I'll translate to his choice of German or French.
perfect. That way the party can communicate.
So, like, you're a boxer or something?
I think he's talking to you, Boxer dude. I poke
Uh,
at Salvatore. Or Mark. Did he step away?
no, you there, Mark?
Push to talk?
Yeah, I forgot about push to talk. Sorry. Just like I forget mute sometimes.
No worries. So yeah, so the doctor can translate into French or German, so so Salvador can participate in communication with the party easily.
Awesome. So yeah, I heard questions. Yes, I'm a former world heavyweight champion in a couple of different places.
I think I lost $5 when you beat that Italian fella.
Which one?
Might have been the first one. Huh.
And that goes to show you
Remember.
you should have bet on me, but
Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa.
He was Italian.
What a chump.
Too short for the heavyweights.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, so one of you is from Switzerland. I love Switzerland. It's one of my favorite places to go on vacation.
Other than Alvin, is anyone else armed?
Sorry, what was the question?
Does the private investigator notice that anybody else is packing heat?
Oh, yeah. Luther's got a pistol on his hip and is not in the least scared to show it.
Okay.
Mine is kind of inside his coat pocket, kind of like a shoulder holster kind of thing. Not a coat pocket, shoulder holster, we'll call it. Something like a Mexican bandito would wear in the Revolution.
Like a gunslinger's like holster kind of deal?
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, Private Eyes in the '40s movies wore them too, so it's just something that so people can't see you're holding a gun unless your shirt's off, or your jacket's off.
Oh, like a under the arm holster.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I had this vision of a desperado with like bullets crisscrossing his chest.
Oh no, those are cool too, though.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a word for it, but I forget what it is.
You said Mexican bandito, and that's
I was
where
going to say it's a bandolier. You mean like the
Yeah,
bullet?
bandolier. Yeah.
Well, if I see everybody like pointing to weapons and guns, I just hold up my fists with kind of a quizzical. Look,
No, I think it's just the detective trying to assess people. So he's looking at who has a gun and who has a weapon.
Yeah, Luther has a gun. It's on his hip. He does not care if anyone sees it. Doesn't even try to hide it.
Dr. Carter mentioned a rifle in the conversation yesterday. He doesn't seem to have a gun on him, but he does have a knife.
We're going to inside 1920s South America City, right? So just checking to see who's packing.
Oh, I'll have something as soon as we leave town. Just not carrying it for breakfast.
Well, Alvin, I think this is your breakfast.
It's paid,
Okay.
right?
Well,
It
it's
is,
paid,
yep.
but you kind of called us all together. So
Well, so I'm not here to role play everyone. I just wanted to call to everyone together, like, so I can bring everyone together. The goal of this conversation, I'm not going to role play it out, all of it, but the goal is that I want to make sure all of you guys slept in the hotel last night. None of you guys are missing or trying to report to the other hotel what's been going on, and it gives me an excuse to try to keep you guys together till we go to the museum at the same time.
Good thinking.
Before once we've done eating, Dr. Carter will offer Evelyn to go to the university before the meeting to go to the library and try to see if we can ask around to be let in.
It's a public place. I don't see why they wouldn't let us into the.
Well, it's the library of the university. I'll probably have to sweet talk some people so they give us access to the academic section.
I am happy to follow everyone. Alvin is happy to follow everyone. He asks you guys to call him Al.
Sorry?
He asks everyone to call him Al.
Okay. Will do.
Anyone not want to go to the university who wants to split off from the group?
No, I definitely do not want to be in a strange country by myself, wearing a mask and being hassled by the cops.
It seems very personal to call you Al.
Valador just means flying in Spanish. Guerrero means warrior in Spanish. So Val will do, or VG, or whatever you prefer.
I mean,
I think perhaps I'll call you Mr. Guerrero
That works too.
and Mr. Sharp.
yeah, okay.
civilized folks. I like it.
Perfect.
Well, if I was civilized, I wouldn't be here.
I mean,
But I do like to pretend.
Should I call you Miss or Madam?
You may call me Miss Collins.
Understood, Miss Collin.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so your breakfast, everybody is accounted for. Nobody went missing in the middle of the night. Everybody looks like they're well rested too. Perhaps with some medicinal aid or not.
Yep, a little bit.
And you guys are so you guys are going to the university earlier.
Yes. We're going to head out a little before. It's going to take her longer to walk there if we're walking.
Okay.
I'm gonna offer her an arm while we walk to the university.
She takes it and still leans heavily on her cane.
Okay. So the university, the Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos, the National University of San Marcos, is one of the oldest seats of higher learning in the Americas. It was founded in 1551.
Wow.
And you can easily see the museum as well. The museum is relatively new. It was only opened 2 years ago in 1919. It is a long 2-story stone building fronted by the university park. So it's very easy to see like as soon as you get to the university. But you guys are trying to get access to the library?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
I'm gonna try to play the academic game of coming from another university, looking into local research and trying to get them to let us access it as a courtesy.
okay.
And I will play it being charming.
Right. One of you can give me a persuasion roll. And do either of you speak Spanish?
I do not.
I most certainly do.
I'm horrifyingly anglophone, just like in real life.
I speak American and hand $1 over to try to assist.
As long as you can speak American, you can do anything you want.
I speak green paper.
All right.
I can translate for anybody if they need it.
Okay. So whoever is doing the talking, which sounds like Dr. Carter, can make a persuasion roll. But the difficulty is hard, which means you need to roll less than half of your persuasion.
I wasn't joking, saying I was trying to assist with money.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna try, but it's with a hard difficulty. Yep.
Actually, I'll say hard difficulty, but I'll give you a bonus die because of the bribe. Largely, it's just so you guys can see how bonus dice work.
It's a big swing, though.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between a 96 and a 56 is huge. They just fire back in very rapid Spanish. The gist of it seems to be, where's your paperwork? We didn't receive a transfer request. We didn't receive anything. Who's this American think he is trying to bribe us like we're some 2-bit street person? And so on and so forth, down a progressively more insulting thing once they realize that you don't speak the language.
All right, I'm giggling. I'm giggling towards all this and says, "Yes, Americans are obnoxious, aren't they?" I say this in Spanish. Says, "Unfortunately, I I uh, I have to take care of them for a bit. Maybe you can help. Maybe you can help us out if I can give you an autograph or give you a picture or something."
All right. So I'm going to consider this to be a pushed roll because now you guys are really kind of pushing the situation. So you get to make the roll again, but failure means you're basically kicked out of the library.
Okay, I have a question here.
Yep.
Before you push the roll, if this is we pushing the roll, like is that assume that somebody else can step in and try to get us through, and that would also be a push roll? I'm just asking systemically. Like if I decide, hey, I want to fast talk instead of him because I'm the one with the money, and I want to go $2, and
Okay. Yep. Basically, the situation is such that you've kind of pushed this poor administrator, so you guys get one more shot at this roll, however you want to do it. But failure means that you are basically escorted from the library premises.
I'll take that. Does anyone mind
As
if I
we
try?
should be. Go for it. I don't care.
So I don't have the language, so there's probably going to be a difficulty there.
Yeah,
But-
it's a hard difficulty, but a bonus die.
Perfect. So I am going to try to fast talk him back.
Okay.
Click on fast talk. So 1 bonus die. Regular difficulty. No, difficult.
Difficulty is hard.
Hard.
Okay. Nope. Ooh, 75 fast talk though.
Yeah.
Did an option come up for you to spend luck on that?
No. How much would I need though?
You would need whatever half of 75.
It's 35, 38. Spend 3 luck to pass. Oh, if you click on the little bug, I have the opportunity to spend 3 luck to pass. I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend 3 luck to pass, which I guess is going to subtract from my luck just to spend it. I mean, 3 luck. There we go.
There we go. Perfect. Now we know how that works. Awesome.
If
Did
you're
everyone
wondering,
see me doing that?
If you're wondering how bad this game is, Anita is the only person that made a roll today.
Oh God, we're doomed.
And it was
Uh,
not.
no.
I did succeed in archaeology roll.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? I missed that one.
Yeah. All right. So
That's the point you said you don't want to take note because of what I got from the archaeology roll.
so the administrator kind of looks. They take the $2. Kind of like, grudgingly, and then kind of usher you into the library.
I know the language, I say, as I get in.
And the library here, it's got that smell of well kept old books. And it's fairly extensive, primarily dealing with like their archaeology and anthropology sections are larger than like their humanities section or their philosophy section or things of that nature. But it is, it's a multi-story library on a university in a major city. So now that you're in the library, what would you like to do?
I would like to check for reference to the pyramid we're supposed to go to, or the people that should have built it. Like trying to find some basis to the research we're gonna do. Trying to see if all of this could be based on anything real or if it's the fabulation of someone. I'll probably need someone speaking Spanish to translate once I find the right book.
Okay. Anybody else researching anything in the library?
I'm going to see what I can find about cults in the area.
Okay.
Luther will look for exits and entrances and
Okay.
be paranoid.
All right.
Going to look.
I am preparing for these people to go missing. So while they are researching or whatever, I asked to take a picture of them, like a candid photo, for souvenir or whatever. And I take a good picture of their face for all of them.
Okay.
I'm just going to browse like the local newspapers and magazines to see if I'm famous here or not.
Okay.
Is anyone against my character taking a picture of them, by the way?
Oh, I pose for lots of pictures. In fact, I'll try to sell you one, an autographed 8x10.
Yeah, Luther will keep put his paw up when you try to take a picture of him. Like,
Okay.
no.
I'm fine with my picture being taken.
My character's fine with it.
Okay.
Much like Voldor, I'm actually going to see if I can find anything about myself to see if my exploits in the boxing ring have made it into any of their newspapers and archives. At the same time, I'm going to periodically keep an eye out to see if we were followed by anybody for some reason, maybe.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect.
I might call you from time to time to translate something.
Chris, my character isn't a researcher, but there are two things that he learned yesterday that kind of called to question. One was the entire piece around the Spaniards coming in, and so it being kind of like a descendants thing. So he's looking. I know that everything's going to be in Spanish, so he's not so much looking for that. He's looking for something that has to do with anything that kind of timelines, and he's looking for one specific word that might appear multiple times, and it's the word Mendoza or de Mendoza, because that was the name of the dude who's apparently the head of all of this. And if it's hereditary or anything like that, maybe calls back to that Spanish ship, because Mendoza is a popular Spanish name.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right. So we'll kind of go in investigator order here. So that will start with Alvin. So you can give me a photography roll for the pictures. And the main reason I'm getting you to do rolls is because succeeding at rolls is how you improve skills.
Nope. All the pictures are blurry.
Yeah, they're all blurry. People are out of focus.
They're candids.
Dr. Carter, library use roll. And I love that Call of Cthulhu has a library use skill. All of my librarian friends are like, "Yay!"
I like that
I
you have librarian
consider
friends.
myself one of those, and I'm very proud that we have a library use skill.
Okay. I have at least 3 friends that are like actual librarians. Like
That's awesome.
I have a non-zero number of friends who are like actual librarians working in libraries.
How you know
I
we're
work in
geeks.
book restoration, so
Yeah.
library adjacent.
Yeah. See, I wasn't counting you as a librarian because I knew you did something specialized. But okay, perfect. All right. So Dr. Carter, um, the only people in the area that were known as pyramid builders would have been the Incans. They're the area that Larkin is saying that he found these artifacts in, up around Lake Titicaca, basically near the Bolivia-Peru border. The people there, one sec, let me find my notes. There we go. The Tiwanaku. They were discovered by the Spanish by Pedro de Leon in 1549. Um, there's been archaeological studies in the area around Lake Titicaca, but no evidence of them being pyramid builders. So, um, the fact that you found 2 artifacts, one of which was from these Tiwanaku people, and the other one from the Incans, indicates that the Incans were probably responsible for the pyramid, if there is one, but there's no record of one being in that area.
Could there have been territorial takeover from the Incan and Tuanicu territory to explain this?
That is entirely likely.
Okay. I'm not looking for fact, I'm looking for if it's at all possible or if it's fabulation. So
It's possible. You don't think you would label it as probable, but it's possible.
okay, so this expedition has some basis.
There is some basis here. Yes.
Um,
Anything else?
I'm just gonna gather all the little details and facts to refresh my memory, so when we get there, I have a clear mind on what we're looking for. But
Perfect.
it's more of a background thing from that point on.
Okay. Evelyn.
Evelyn is trying to find A, books in English, and B, anything about cults or the occult in this area.
In Peru, you're gonna
Yeah.
find a lot.
In Peru. I know.
Okay. Give me a library use roll. Oof. You know you're playing Call of Cthulhu. The good rolls come on library use. All right. So you do find some folklore for the area. So according to the Incans, Lake Titicaca is the birthplace of humanity. In times past, the god known as Kontiki rose from the water carrying humans with him. When he'd orchestrated the heavens by positioning the sun, moon, and stars, he commanded the humans to spread across the world. The people in the area, and most of your stuff is focused on not Peru overall because that would be extensive, but I imagine the area that the expedition is going to.
Yes.
The people in the region see the lake itself as a goddess, and they erected an idol to her known as the Copacabana, fashioned from bluish green stone, taking the form of a fish with the head of a woman. When the Spaniards conquered the area, they saw the worship as pagan. Go figure.
Imagine. Can you cut and paste that into the chat?
I probably. Let me see. Uh, Copy and paste part 1. There we go.
Chris,
yep.
time check. There's an hour left.
Yep.
Are we moving at the right pace for the prelude, or is this going to be a 2-session prelude?
Oh, the prelude is like 2 or 3 sessions.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So the Spaniards conquered it, and because they thought, oh, this is pagan, but it's still a goddess, so they kind of did what they could to replace the worship of her with the Virgin Mary.
Okay.
There are stories of creatures called makakuna, creatures who made from bones. By day, they work the fields and fertilize the crops. They're like some sort of undead that is believed to be penance for the sins they committed in life. But there are similar creatures called suka that seek out humans not to repent, but to kill and eat them.
Oh,
And I posted all that to the Discord, so you have it.
thank you very much. Perfect. Evelyn is
Okay.
far better with writing stuff over than I am at the moment.
Okay. All right. Luther and Salvador, since you're both kind of keeping an eye out, I'll get both of you to give me spot hidden rolls. Ooh, success. Oh, Tony's AFK. So I can make the roll for him.
So if I'm reading this properly, there are skeletons that are farmers, and there are skeletons that eat people.
Yes.
Yep.
Got it.
That's what Evelyn seems to be muttering about.
All right. So Salvatore, as you're like keeping an eye out, and both you and Volador, there are some records of you in. I mean, both of you are fairly well known and fairly well respected in your sports. So there are not just like the regular like stories about when you won a championship, but there are actually some like some papers that have been written regarding like Salvador has a fairly unique physique for the size, so there's actual like scholarly articles kind of dissecting like was the reason he was the heavyweight champion because of his strength, or was it because of his size, or was it his reach? Like there's actual like articles aside from sporting articles about you. It's kind of weird to see yourself in like an academic report.
Okay, yeah.
But you do see kind of like through the busy crowd outside as you're kind of looking to see if you're followed. You do see the kind of greasy hair and kind of drawn features of the expedition assistant de Mendoza, just kind of watching you.
Really? Watching me?
Nope, Salvatore was seeing if you were being followed.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You're push to talk again, Mark.
Yeah, I was just jotting something down. So I'm like seeing him through a window.
Yeah, like you kind of glance out the window just to see if you're being followed, and you can
Yeah.
spot him kind of in the crowd of people around the university.
I give him a somewhat friendly wave as if, to acknowledge that I notice him.
Okay. He does not wave back. But the fact that he moves to kind of block line of sight after you wave at him indicates that he was keeping eyes on you. All right. Anything else anybody wants to check in the library?
I'll just point out to the nearest person to me, if that's Carter or somebody else, that we have a chaperone of sorts, and if he's still visible, I point out De Mendoza.
Okay. He is not. Once you waved at him, he kind of merged in with the crowd.
I'm gonna address you in German on this and just say, I'll warn the others, but it's better that we look like we were here on mission for the expedition. If he's keeping track on us. And I'll try to warn Alvin and Luther of the situation,
Okay.
as I expect them to be more interested in this fact.
Okay.
So that we don't blow the cover of whoever we have to be meeting.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Oh, apparently Tony's got to go. He's got a thing that he has to go deal with.
Sorry, guys. Gotta go.
Hey, no worries.
See
Okay,
you next week.
see you tomorrow night.
And yeah, tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Hi.
Cheers.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So yes. So Alvin, they point out that De Mendoza has apparently been shadowing you.
Okay. It's not like I'm going to chase after him, but I'm aware now. I'm going to keep an eye open for that. Makes me a little bit more paranoid, and considering that the normally paranoid guy is no longer with us for the evening, I guess I'm going to take that spot.
Okay. Perfect.
He's
We'll just
keeping an eye on us, and I know we have to meet a friend of a friend of Luther here. I don't want to blow anyone's cover or alert anyone that should not be alert. But he's watching us, so whatever we do here, assume he might be looking.
Chris, if this becomes a situation that is, you know what, I'll play it by ear, but before the meeting happens, I'm going to make a call. Just give me like a heads up before the meeting is supposed to take place.
okay. All right. Is there anything else folks want to research in the library?
No, not much of a reader.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not much of a reader.
Okay. All right.
I'm a reader, just not in Spanish.
I'm sure they have Latin as well.
Yeah, I don't think I speak any Latin. No, good Lord, no.
I have a pretty linguistic, but not specifically Spanish. But yeah, I made the research I wanted to do, and I assume it would have taken the time I had on hand.
I probably fake Latin, but not actual.
All So we will jump ahead to your meeting with Sanchez. So Alvin, you wanted to do a thing?
So is Mendoza, because if I keep an eye out, is Mendoza still around? The reason is this meeting is fairly important. I want to make sure that it goes off without a hitch. So if need be, I am going to try to find some way to grab his attention and lead him away while everyone else has the meeting.
Okay. He
Amazing having a competent member of the party.
Weird. What do we do with that?
Yeah, you take a quick look around. Give me a spot hidden roll.
Fantastic. Go with spot hidden. Hopefully I don't lose sanity. Regular roll?
Yep.
No bonuses?
Nope.
Woo.
Okay. All right. So you take a look around, kind of like, I mean, you're a trained PI. You're used to like looking for people in crowds, and you're confident that he is no longer following you.
Okay. Perfect. Then I will attend the meeting with everyone else.
All right. So 2 o'clock rolls around. You guys make your way to Professor Sanchez's office. Elias meets you there. The office itself, it's airy. It's very tall ceilinged, white walls, shelves just full of books and different artifacts. A very large hardwood desk, papers, books, journals. The window is open to air out the room. Elias is already there. When you arrive, he's discussing with the professor. They're talking back and forth in Spanish. I can't remember Trevor's Volador. They're basically just making small talk, and Elias is explaining that he has some friends that are coming to this meeting as well, so it's not going to be a surprise to the professor. And as you arrive, he turns and says, there you are. And Professor Sanchez greets you in both Spanish and English.
Gonna remove my ad, greet him graciously, usher people in.
Yes, come. I am Professor Nemesio Sanchez, Department of Anthropology here. I am not going to do. I don't do accents, so if there's confusion as to which NPC is speaking, by all means ask. So
Dr. Lawrence Carter, I'm very pleased to meet you.
I have read some of your work. Thank you. I understand you are working with Mr. Elias here on a project he's researching.
Yes, lots of curious matter that was brought to my attention, and I was hoping to see if there was any historical value to it.
I think there is. I believe there is significant historical value. I think this Mr. Larkin. I think he's Waqueros, a grave robber. I think he wishes the treasure and is not concerned about the significance. I think that is why he's rebuffed me when I attempted to join. I have been working on locating the pyramid to get there first. My government does not. My government doesn't care if our history is robbed and stolen, plundered. But if I can find this pyramid first, get there first, perhaps I can save some of it. Myself and one of my students, Miss Rizzo, have been going through the archives for any possible information. And we did find a document dating from the 16th century written by a conquistador, a gentleman named Gaspar Figuera. very, very difficult to read. She's been working on a summary that picks out the pertinent details. I believe she is mostly finished, but just had to stop for the moment to look for a related artifact in the storeroom under the museum. She should be along shortly. She's just gone to fetch the artifact. She should be back any moment. But perhaps we can provide you with some information, or perhaps you can help us to locate this.
The information we have so far is a bit tenuous, but it has been agreed that we would participate in the exploration, and we could. I was hoping in participating that I could bring back some relics to the museum.
We would be deeply appreciative.
I do not. I have not been furnished with enough information to guide you, strictly speaking, to the pyramid. But maybe your participation in it can ensure that not all is lost, and we can save most of the culturally significant artifact. Already, from the few things I have been able to piece out, it seems to be, it might be an Incan conquest of Tawaniku territory.
It's possible. Both cultures were present in the area. At times, their borders were like within bowshot of each other.
I saw traces of both of their cultures in the proof that was taken of the existence of the pyramid, but at very distant time period. So either the Incan took over and took the treasure of the Tawaniku, or what we are looking for has been the treasure cage of some other form of grave robber or treasure hunter.
I see. Well, Miss Rizzo has been doing quite a bit of the translation work on the documents we managed to find. She should be back by now.
Maybe we should look for her.
I could
Chris?
check on her if you'd like.
So yes.
Outside of the academic questions, I'm going to ask timing questions.
Sure.
How long has he been searching for people, or has this been public that he's searching for people? Have you heard of any other expeditions that happened beforehand? Anything that would lead, because again, my character is looking for someone who may or may not have been related in this entire thing. So anything having to do with previous attempts of searching or finding or gathering people to go out in that direction.
Okay. There have been inquiries to some of the academics and articles in the newspaper. I don't suspect that you're the first to answer the call. I first heard about it nearly 6 weeks ago, but all of my attempts to join have been declined, if not outright ignored. But it is possible that others have joined up and perhaps are going to be going with the expedition when they set out.
Thank you.
If you, the storeroom is just here. I'll show you. He gives you some directions. The storeroom is in the basement under the museum. Mr. Jackson and I will wait here.
Yeah, I'd be more comfortable if Miss Collins wouldn't go alone.
Okay.
So gentlemanly of you.
Okay.
I do appreciate it.
So who would like to go to the basement?
I would.
I'll accompany you.
Okay.
I'll be in the back. I'm still weary for De Mendoza, so I'm watching R6 per se.
Okay. Are you hanging back in the office, or are you just taking up the rear as they go to the basement?
I'm taking up not a distant rear, but I am definitely not with the pack.
Gotcha. Okay. What about our two muscle men?
They're busy admiring.
I don't have a preference. I appear to be a bodyguard, I guess. So
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
I
mind
guess
being
I'll stay with the
muscled.
lady who's walking with a cane.
Okay.
Thank you. It's so gentlemanly of you.
Well, Latin men are very gentlemanly.
I will keep that in mind.
And I guess the important question is, who is leading the way to the basement?
Sorry, why are we going to the basement again?
Uh, the intern who's been doing some translation work and stuff
Oh,
had gone down to the storeroom and has not yet returned.
I'll
oh,
lead the way. No problem.
All right.
I don't.
Brave.
He doesn't know there's anything dangerous yet.
So the storeroom, it's almost directly under the office. There's a staircase and then like a long, dimly lit corridor. Um, it is quiet because it's the weekend. You don't see anybody else moving around. The storeroom itself is the door to it is open. Um, it is filled with rows of floor to ceiling shelves, packed with crates and boxes and bags. The dim electrical lighting is flickering, throwing shadows here and there.
Did we have the name of the assistant?
Trinidad Rizzo.
And he's Spanish speaking, I take it.
She, yes.
She. So I will ask. I'll speak out and ask for her. Miss Trinidad, are you here? Miss Rizzo, are you here? But I'll say it in Spanish, of course.
There's no answer. But I will get people to give me listen rolls.
I shouldn't have posted that listen roll meme.
Everybody?
Yep.
Unless you can't hear.
I can't hear according to my dice anyway.
Dr. Lawrence really can't hear.
All right. There is no response.
Guess I'll just start looking around. Boom boxes around if they're in the way, that sort of thing.
If no one answers, I'm gonna. I know I'm far in the back, so I'm. When I eventually get down with the group, I'm being like, hold on, let's check the area, and I pull out my gun.
Okay. Important note in case it comes up for initiative purposes. For initiative, you act on whatever your dexterity is, but if you have a gun out, you can shoot on your dex plus 50. So as long as you're shooting a gun, you're faster than somebody who's swinging a punch.
Gotcha. But a reasonable person for me, or at least Valador's position would be, he's more concerned of a medical emergency than he is some monster jumping out at him. So
Oh, it's not a jump monster. My character's concern is missing persons, right?
Yep.
Abductions and shit. So
right, Valador's isn't. He works in fantasy.
Yeah. All right.
I'm still on Mrs. Collins' side to help her make her way.
And so she doesn't stay alone.
Okay, perfect. So who is fanning out to look for her?
I will.
Is this like the prototypical like basement of a library with like flickering lights and like rows and rows of stacks where like
Yes.
line of sight is terrible?
Yep.
Fantastic.
Um,
Yes, I'm fanning out to look for her.
Okay.
My gun is out, but pointing up in the
Yep.
air at the moment.
All right. So as you fan out, start to look for her. Who has the lowest luck?
Mine's
I-
60.
Are you asking us to say, or are you checking our sheets?
No, you can just say.
What? Or are you talking about real life?
No. You can
Nice
just
or not?
say whatever your current luck is.
27.
That's
As soon
that's
as I see it, I will tell you. 55.
okay.
It used to be 30.
I have 45 luck.
Sorry, where's luck again?
At the
Left side.
top left of your character sheet.
Under your golden thing next to the tentacle.
60 for me. 60.
All right, Alvin. So
Reason I pulled out my gun, goddammit.
so you're looking, and you know the lights are flickering. The line of sight is horrible. You're like, this is a bad situation. But you do find Mr. Rizzo half buried under a pile of artifacts that have been pulled off the shelves. You can see basically part of the body sticking out from this collapse of artifacts.
Yeah. There are no such thing as serial dramas, but I'm. How does one check for if they're alive without knowing that they have to check for the pulse?
Medicine skill.
Yeah, I'm not. We tried that earlier.
So none of you are skilled enough to determine if somebody is alive or dead with a simple cursory examination.
Okay, so I'm like, I see her. Before I try to see if she's alive, I look around to see if someone would have pushed. Like you're talking about, like an entire shelf got pushed down on her. Is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, like a bunch of the artifacts and books and papers and stuff have been basically pulled down on top of her.
Okay, so I do a quick look to make sure that there's no one around, and then I call everyone over here, over there. I think I found her, and I put my gun away and I try to
Okay.
dig her out of the mess of stuff.
Okay.
And I'm trying to ascertain if she's breathing or not while I'm waiting for people to arrive.
All right. So as you kind of dig her out, you notice as you see more and more of the body that she looks like emaciated, almost mummified. And as you're trying to like find a pulse just in case, her shriveled face is like frozen in a mask of terror, her eyes still wide. Give me a sanity roll.
Sanity. I'm sane.
Good. You do not lose any sanity as a result of seeing her. But as you kind of like you're trying, there is no pulse. She's definitely dead. Probably be more horrifying if she wasn't. You notice a couple of things that really draw your attention. One is that her shirt is partially torn, and on the flesh of kind of her, like her upper side, closer to her chest than her back, so kind of like where your pectoral muscles would be. There is a large disc of bloody flesh torn away.
I'm sorry. A disc?
A disc.
Like
Of
a
flesh.
circle shape
Creepy.
above her, like near her collarbone here, like where her collarbone meets her ribs kind of deal?
Yeah, kind of between her collarbone and her ribs. It's probably about the size of like if you put both of your fists together.
Oh shoot. It's not like, it's like the size of her heart.
About that size, give or take. But it's just the skin. All of the underneath musculature is still intact.
Well, I take 2 steps back.
And the other thing that you notice is poking out of her jacket pocket is what appears to be her notebook.
So I recognize the notebook. I'm calling for help. I pull back out my gun because that's not a bruise. That's not she fell or hurt herself. That is someone took a piece of her skin away.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm looking around because someone did this. I thought maybe it was an accident because no one was around. And now I see that and I'm like, that's a big deal. And there's blood, I'm assuming.
There is not.
Well, I don't know what that means because I don't have enough knowledge of medicine. So I'm like looking around. So Chris, you said that while people are running, you said that the artifacts looked like they were thrown on her. I'm assuming because there's like you said stacks, right? So there's books and books and books and books, and might be artifacts and boxes and so on and so forth. Like that's what I'm imagining, right? Like
to your trained private investigator eye, it looks like probably as a result of a struggle, things got knocked over and then
she got pushed and then the entire thing fell on her.
Exactly. But as you're kind of casing it, you do see next to her a small wooden crate that has been smashed to pieces. But the top of it has been pulled off in a way that indicates that the damage was not entirely due to a fall from the shelves.
Got it. Okay. These are all important things, which I will mention and I will get people to take a look at, and I will look at it as well. If this was a struggle, they're either still here or they left. So I am that's my avenue right now, is to try to find the culprit as opposed to what exactly happened here or what might be left. So I'll let the other people come in so they can do stuff, but my main question, I guess, is the way we came down, and I don't know if I can figure this out on my own, but is the way we came down the only way in or out?
No, it is not.
Fuck. Okay.
Right. So the rest of you, who is answering the distress call?
I'll come running right over. And when I see him panicking with his, going not panicking, but kind of really seeming like he's intent on with this gun, I'm going to pull mine out too.
Okay. Okay.
I give him the check the other stacks that we can't see from here symbol.
Okay. Perfect. What about Salvador?
I'm going to make my way over, but I'm a little more cautious. I'm not as gung-ho about charging blindly towards this, so...
Okay. Right. And Evelyn and Dr. Carter.
Evelyn's going toward the commotion.
Okay. Right. And Dr. Carter. There, Yorick.
Are we waiting for yeah, okay.
Alas, poor York.
Don't know if he's muted. Anyway, those of you who do make your way over, you do see this this mummified, emaciated body, and you guys can give me sanity rolls.
Sanity.
That
I made a roll. Look at that. I made the best roll.
Oh, critical success.
Does that give me anything?
Nope.
Wasted it then.
Sorry about that. What I was saying is that I was gonna look the other direction that was possible.
Okay.
Lots of people are going for the scream. I'm thinking if there's something else,
Okay. So
some other that way. Or
gotcha. Fanning out a little bit. Okay.
yeah,
Right.
there's something worth screaming about. There's probably something else around.
And I need a sanity check from Evelyn.
That's what I was just going to ask, was who you needed sanity for.
About it.
Oof.
Did you roll a 3?
Wow,
Nice.
I rolled a 3. Yeah.
Right. Salvador. You see this poor woman. You lose 5 points of sanity. And sanity rules.
My sheet just triggered something called Bout of Madness.
Yep. If you lose 5 or more points in a single instance.
There we go. We're learning all these things about the rules.
Oh, I wish Tony was here to do this.
Please tell me how Mark went crazy.
With his sanity of 30? Yeah. All right. So
That's what we need.
So Salvador, you see this woman and you see this huge wound on her, and you realize that whatever made that, that's some sort of psycho. They're probably here. They're probably hiding. Wait a minute. Alvin was at a site from you guys for a while. Oh wait, where'd Luther go? You haven't seen Luther. So for the next few rounds at the very least, Salvador is more than a little bit paranoid.
I would not call that a sanity loss. I would call that common sense.
A reasonable reaction.
A reasonable reaction to this.
Chris, the basement has got to be huge. There's no way that I'm going to be able to check every nook and cranny of this.
Not by yourself for sure. It is 80 feet by 45 feet, so it is large, especially with the poor lighting and the block line of sight. But others are spreading out to look as well. And those of you who are looking around, which I believe is probably everybody, can give me a spot hidden roll.
Wow.
Well, Salvador is currently a little bit preoccupied, so
Salvador rolled 99.
yeah.
We rolled 2 90s.
Yep.
It's because I rolled well earlier. My
No-
dice are
Yeah.
not getting the revenge.
I don't think I've ever died in a prelude yet, so but hey, the first time for everything.
You haven't died. You're just a little paranoid, which is probably very healthy.
Which might lead to death if whatever.
Look at my spot hidden check and my spot hidden score.
A success is a success. All right. So yeah, as you guys kind of fan out and you're looking around, Salvador he's like constantly looking behind himself and making sure that wherever he goes, he keeps all of you in sight. Basically, during a bout of madness for the 1 to 10 rounds, the keeper has control of your character. In this case, it's only for 3 rounds, so it's not anything super bad. It does get really bad if you react violently and the keeper has control of your character. But this is just some paranoia. So you guys all notice that Salvador seems a little wigged out and is watching all of you before he kind of focuses on the job at hand. So it worked really well that you rolled the 99 after you went a little bit crazy. But Alvin, On a door that leads out of the storeroom, basically, probably into like a different part of the campus. Um, you see some like kind of greasy, matted black hair kind of stuck to the door frame. Just like one or two. Like if you weren't a trained private investigator, you would probably not even have noticed it.
Okay, I was gonna ask because you made it sound like it's like a wet wig that was attached to a door. No, that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about like a handful of hair
Yeah,
strands,
right.
greasy and wet. Well, that sounds like someone. Um, I get close and I give it a good whiff.
Yeah,
Does it smell like someone who's, I don't know, drank too much? Has that alcohol sweats?
very similar.
This doorway that leads out, if I look up, my assumption is that they left here in a hurry. There's no blood or anything here, no spatters or anything that would indicate that whoever took that piece of meat ran this way or anything like that.
There is no splatters. No.
Okay. I'm going to circle back to the body. I'm going to assume that this person that I'll finish my sweep there, but I'm going to circle back to the body afterwards, assuming that this person is gone. But I will keep in mind that piece of information and share the group with it when appropriate once we start going over the body.
Okay, perfect. All right. Salvatore kind of comes to senses. You realize that no, Luther seems like a good guy. He couldn't have done this. Probably. Maybe. He's definitely not here, though. You start like mentally accounting for everybody in your head, and you're like, okay, you know where everybody was at all times, other than that Luther guy. Yeah, it's probably nothing. Um, but then you kind of snap to your senses as you realize everybody else is like kind of searching around. For the rest of you, you do spot the little broken open wooden crate by her body, as well as her notebook in her jacket pocket. And there is the slight glimmer of gold from inside the wooden crate.
All right.
Saw that one coming. Chris, when do we all reunite after searching the area?
Like 5 minutes or so.
Okay. I'm going to assume my character comes back and everyone is still in shock, or did people go off and do stuff?
People were searching around, but none of them found anything.
No, Evelyn doesn't get very far with her cane.
Right.
Okay, Al
How
comes
much-
back. He's in the process of sheathing, holstering his gun. Did you guys find anything?
I didn't find anything. Volador suggests, since he's the only one that speaks Spanish, that maybe he gets the authorities. Although he really, because he's macho, doesn't want to leave the party, but
Yeah, it's because he's macho.
he knows he's the only one that could actually go get the cops, kind of thing.
So Alvin kind of takes like one knee and does one of the when he looks up at the body, like tips his hat up. It's like, well, looks like there was a struggle here, and she was probably pushed into this, and it all fell over. Looks like they were struggling around this thing. One of you two larger gentlemen over here trying to pry that top off, see what's inside there. I'm sorry, Ms. Collins?
Miss? Yes.
Miss Collins? Excuse me. Alvin kind of reaches in, takes the notebook and hands it to her. It's like, is there anything in there that at the end there it says what she was working on? If they attacked her here, they was either, I mean, the only thing she was doing here was looking into what we were looking into, so that's a little suspicious.
I'll certainly see what I can find. And I'll start flipping through the notebook.
Okay.
Did I notice anyone who was particularly offended by the smell last night of that gentleman?
No.
Okay. No one in this group?
No one in this group.
Shit. Okay.
All right. The notebook. It seems to be notes. Like a not a literal transcription, but the highlights of something called Confessions of Gaspar Figuero. You don't have to memorize all this because it's a handout, so I will make it available to everybody in Foundry.
Thank goodness.
It says Spanish, written by Gaspar Figuero of 1543 on vellum. Figuero, Spaniard who had traveled to Peru with Francisco Pizarro. According to the text, Figuero sent to seek his own fortune following Pizarro's assassination in 1541. He was accompanied by Hernando Ruiz, Diego Garrido, Luis de Mendoza, and Pedro Velasco, fellow conquistadors who had served with Pizarro. They traveled into the southern highlands of the Andes looking for treasure, hoping to make their fortune before heading back to Spain and retiring in luxury. Hearing rumors of an ancient temple filled with gold, the men set off into the mountains southwest of Lake Titicaca. There they found a pyramid surrounded by a maze-like structure of underground tunnels. The walls of the tunnels were laid with intricate gold carvings. The men pried out a large section of the gold, exhausting themselves in the attempt. That night, as they rested, an evil sickness befell Figuero's companions. In the morning light, they looked gaunt and deathlike. Complaining of agonizing hunger, they pursued Figuero de Mendoza, caught up with him, and started to devour him. Like a human leech. Figuero shot his friend in the head and fled, pausing only to snatch up as much of the gold as he could carry. Figuero eventually arrived back in Lima, hoping to get passage home, but he was too weakened by his ordeal. Figuero describes himself as wasted, little more than a walking corpse. I read Final Confessions as Figuero's attempt to lift the guilt that his avarice had placed upon him. He believed that his fate and that of his companions was brought about by the desecration of a holy place, and his most fervent wish was that he could undo the damage he had inflicted. He describes how he can still hear his friends' voices crying out with inhuman hunger, and how in the dark of the night he can hear another voice, ancient and seductive, promising him eternal life if he returns to the temple. The voice told Figuero how to contact it, but it seems Figuero was too afraid to ever attempt this. Postscript written by the priest who performed the last rites states that Figuero died a day after completing his final confessions. His last words were an entreaty to whatever gods were listening to forgive him his blasphemies.
Wow.
So I'm assuming that this was a cinematic moment.
Yeah.
You know, there's like a narration with the voice of Colin's character reading through this. As in the background, we see the large people opening the crate with the gold things in it.
So under journal entries, under Peru handouts, you should see one that says Peru 3. That'll give you that full text. But yes, the as Salvador and Voladar, I keep wanting to call you Voldemort.
Please don't.
But as you guys kind of pry off the lid of this chest, inside it is a bunch of straw, and inside the straw is a single length of worked gold, around 2 feet in length, 3 inches wide, and 1/3 of an inch deep.
It looks like it was pried off a wall, I assume.
Both of its ends are rough, as though the piece is ripped or broken from a larger design. It weighs a little bit less than 25 pounds, making it too heavy for most people to wield in combat. It is largely a straight band, although 4 sections jutted at right angles into short spurs or squared off spirals. The surface is imprinted with a series of non-repeating geometric shapes, mostly squares and rectangles, with no obvious meaning to them. These shapes do not resemble any known form of writing. And somebody can give me, all of you actually can roll Spot Hidden.
Odd hidden.
Spot Hidden.
I hope I don't roll a 90.
Damn it.
I'm busy looking at the book. That's my excuse.
I didn't. I rolled a 66.
All right, so Salvatore and Alvin.
No, I failed. Oh no, I succeeded.
No, you succeeded. You got a 37.
Nice. I thought I got a 73.
So both of you spot what appears to be freshly burned remnants of skin on the gold, even though the gold itself is cool to the touch.
So
Can you roll spot hidden for me?
Because it's one of the skill I cannot reach.
Oh, right. Yeah.
can you try to resize that on the bottom right? There's like a little arrow. You might try to resize your page and it moves everything around.
On the tablet, I cannot.
I was asking maybe on the tablet. The
Yeah,
resizing was there.
it's a function that works really well with a mouse, but not at all with a touchscreen.
Okay.
I can pivot. I can use the horizontal versus vertical to try to reach more stuff, but some few things are just out of reach.
Is the pop out there? Maybe my.
It might be an option if you click the up at the top of your character sheet. There's a summarize, which condenses everything down into kind of like the important skills and everything. That might work for you.
Let's try that.
All right.
Summarize.
But yes,
Oh.
so that might work. I think it pulls up just like the skills that are most used. Salvador and Alvin, both of you spot this this burnt remnants of skin on this length of gold.
Huh.
I just visibly shudder with kind of a look of disgust on my face. Like, ugh.
But this piece of gold was still inside the crate, right?
Well, the crate had been partially broken, partially pried open.
But it was still inside. It's not like she was holding it.
Right, she wasn't holding it or anything.
Okay. I look around and people and was like, what does this look like to you guys?
I have no idea. That doesn't look like anything useful.
Is it the same size as her wound?
No.
The symbol don't look like language. Could they be an occult symbol or something?
It's possible. I mean, people can ascribe meaning to any symbols they happen to jot down.
Okay.
Al scratches his head. He's like, motive. It's either personal or money. If I was upset about someone over money, I would not leave a giant gold bar lying around. I would take that with me. So this had to do with something related to her.
And they left the notes.
What? Anything useful in that book, Ms. Collins?
I'm waiting for a handout.
Should be able to see it under the journal tab.
Journal of Peru, Peru 3. She was down here researching what we were doing, right?
She was helping Dr. Sanchez trying to locate the pyramid so they could get there. He could get there first.
So I'm like, we probably want to talk to the cops now.
Stories about.
Maybe we should warn Dr. Sanchez first.
Yeah. That's a good call.
In the interest of preservation, like he said, his government is not above selling out the history and treasures of his people. So, Just making sure that we don't have problems with cops overreaching.
Because I have a problem with the professor. I mean, I knew a woman who clearly looked sick. I would not send her downstairs to do research. Sure, she was killed. She doesn't look like she was very healthy beforehand. This is my
Well, I
character
don't look very
interpreting that.
healthy, and you still let me come down here.
That's the I made the sanity roll rationalization.
Yeah, and that's the. This is a mummy. Clearly, she was like that unalive before.
Terrible skincare routine.
Like you might see look unwell. You don't look that kind of unwell.
Not yet, at least, no. These notes are all about a theft or a ransacking, maybe,
Iced.
that took place back in 1543. And
That was over 70 years ago.
1543, yes, just a bit.
Is there any link between this iced and this relic?
Possibly, if it was, what's it made out of? And she'll
What?
peer over at the
The
item
gold?
that you're holding. Oh, possibly. But they did pry some gold inlay out of uh, some walls of a tunnel. But it seems rather odd that if someone attacked her, they would leave the gold behind.
Unless they attacked her specifically because they want to prevent her from finding the information about the pyramid.
Well, then that stands to reason. I mean, if you're reading her notes and her notes were in her coat, she got the notes are the analysis of something. So she was clearly reading or investigating something else that had that information, and she's summarizing it in her notes. So if you look at the books that are around her, is there anything that do you think that would have led her to that, or did the person leave with that information, the original, as opposed to and left us with just the analysis?
I'll see if I can find anything. And as she starts looking through whatever we can find,
Chris, is my character reaching here?
Nope.
wouldn't I mean, you're the expert on criminal behavior, not me, obviously. Wouldn't someone who would resort to murder not be above a little bit of theft, especially when it's gold?
I mean, depends what you're here for, right? If you were my gal and I caught you cheating, doesn't matter if you had $1,000 in your pocket.
I see now.
Although, who would be jealous of her?
Ah,
I mean, it feels like you wouldn't have had to wait too long to be able to pick on her fellow afterwards. I mean, she looks sick, right?
well, I mean, yes, but just because you're ill doesn't mean you're
Well, I mean,
dead.
I would simply wait.
I mean, she is now, obviously, but so you think it was a crime of passion?
Well, I'm not saying it's a crime of passion. I'm saying that unless you're looking to rob someone, normally after you kill someone, you're not rifling through their pocket. You're kind of like, oh crap, I killed someone.
Interesting.
You have to remember, people aren't really like killers. Not the smartest people. I mean, they're killing people.
That is true. Chris.
Yep.
My knowledge of psychology, would that help me in this?
No, it would not. But you can give
Okay.
me an occult roll.
Okay.
Ooh,
How about a 17?
17 is that's a hard success. All right. So there's a lot of truth to what Alvin's saying. You know, if somebody is killed in a heat of the moment, they would not stick around. There's also the fact if somebody was leaving in a hurry, that gold bar that the Salvatore or Volodar, whichever one is hefting, that's a good like 25 pounds. Like if somebody was leaving in a hurry, they would not stop for that.
Okay. Weird that it's not the weapon that was used to kill her.
Yeah, you would have to be phenomenally strong to use that as a weapon.
I'm looking around at the males around me.
Yeah.
They look like they could have 25 pounds in one hand and clock someone in the head with it.
Well, the
but
cause of death is a giant burn to the chest, as far as I'm aware.
yeah,
Yeah.
but as you're looking at that gold bar, and you look at the notes, and you look at the gold bar, and then something the professor said about those markings. That's not a language. If those are arcane symbols, what happens when you break an arcane marked circle?
Whatever's in it gets out.
And that piece of gold looks like it was rent from a wall or a floor or something.
I am glad I don't have an occult score.
I would like to start trying to find out when these reports of these creatures started.
Around the time of the conquistadors, according to Elias's notes.
You mean
So
the
around
white-faced Syria cult? Kara Syria cult?
so around 1540-ish.
Yep.
And there's nothing about these creatures before that.
Not that you found in your research.
Ah.
And the other thing that draws your attention, since you have the note and you can easily look this up, is the name of one of those conquistadors.
Mendoza.
Yep. One of those conquistadors in 1541. His name was Louis de Mendoza.
Yes. Yes. She'll turn to the two people who seem to speak Spanish. How common is it in Spanish culture to be named after your ancestors? But I know in our family, we have 4 generations of Georges. Is that
My son is named after me.
okay? But would someone name their child after someone who had arrived here in 1540? Would they name their child after one of the conquistadors?
A conqueror? Colonizer? Unlikely.
Do either of you know Mr. de Mendoza at all?
Do we?
Is he from here?
No, you do not.
I wonder if Mr. Elias knows.
Elias mentioned that he first encountered Mendoza in Puna, which is where the expedition is heading to set up for the pyramid. So it's in the area of the pyramid.
Miss Collins, why are you asking about Mendoza?
Well, uh, this may sound a little odd,
I mean,
given your profession.
we are there. I point to the body. Odd, that is. That's where we are.
Yes, that's true. So you have your line of work, and she'll kind of gesture down toward the body. I have mine, and she'll kind of gesture a bit toward the library. Um, so the markings
On the body?
on this, no, on the gold, the markings that have been described.
I thought that wasn't part of
The
the. Okay.
Oh, sorry, they're right here. And she'll kind of pat her hand on the book.
Mhm.
Some conquistadors pried up gold
This
from
gold.
this gold, apparently, from a tunnel long ago.
Sounds like a thing conquistadors do.
hmm One of those conquistadors was named Luis de Mendoza, which is why I asked about the naming habits. The
I mean, Lewis isn't an horribly
Not that
uncommon
rare.
name.
It's not that rare, no. And it could just be happenstance. It strikes me as strange. I know in my family, all of our Georges have been named that for a reason because someone decided it
Since
was
it's a family thing.
some great honor. Possibly. That's what I'm wondering. But the other concern that I have is that the the men who stole it originally um didn't do well. Their health
Didn't do.
declined rapidly, and they began to, um, complain of agonizing hunger. One of them shot one of his friends in the head.
Sounds like
They
a ghost story.
Miss
it
Collins,
went very poorly for them. My concern is that this the stories they tell are very similar to the stories that we were discussing last night.
okay, Miss Collins,
Yes.
I feel like you're trying to get me to understand something that I don't understand. I'm a simple guy. Can you explain to me in my English, not your English,
Oh dear.
what do you think just happened or what is this about? And I've heard some weird stories. No judgment. Because
As you say that,
if you believe it's true, they might have believed it's true, right? Which is
I
just
take
as good of a motive.
photographs. I take photographs of spirits, my friend.
Like I said, if you believe it's true, maybe they believed it's true, and that's enough for motive, right?
I think when they tore the gold inlay out, I think the symbols they removed it from had a purpose.
You're
And I
pausing
think
like if
I
you're
think
making a point, and I don't understand.
I think when they broke those symbols, they released something.
Took those symbols, they released something.
Yes. Like breaking the bars on a cage.
Like a prison cell.
Sure. Prison cell is a fine analogy.
Okay, so you think that the
I
people
th-
400 years ago broke
yes.
something out of a prison
Yes.
accidentally by ripping this gold out. That's
Hopefully
great.
accidentally.
Now, what does
I'd
any
hate
of
to think
this
they did it on purpose.
what does any of this have to do with motive for this?
Well, according to our late companion's notes, one of the thieves.
It was Luis Mendoza.
Yes.
Okay.
And um they ripped some of the gold out and then of course ran off. Uh they started becoming ill right away within the day. Um
Are you
they
implying
started
ill like this? And I point to the lady that's there.
yes.
Okay.
They are specifically described as looking gaunt and death-like
So whatever
and
poison or
complaining.
whatever happened 400 years ago, you think is happening
Mhm.
today. And because there was a Luis Mendoza back then and there's a Luis Mendoza now, you think it's somehow related.
Even if it wasn't, even if there wasn't Luis de Mendoza, I still think that if someone pries a gold bar off of a cage and then he and his companions in this theft start becoming gaunt and deathlike and complaining of an insatiable hunger, then finding someone deceased looking like this with that gold bar seems a bit um, more than coincidental.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to suggest we do. I suggest we go get the cops. Mr.
Agreed.
Volador, Mr. Volador, I'm
Yes,
going to lean on you to explain to the cops that it wasn't us.
absolutely. I think they could. We'll be able to tell that.
So
While
as
everyone is
While
I
everyone
can
is talking,
I can honestly say I've never been suspected of murder. I don't expect that to change today.
Yorick, you're about to say something.
while everyone was talking, I put on my tiny leather gloves and I took the gold bar.
It's not a
Uh,
small gourd bar, right? It's like
Don't mess with the crime
Yeah.
scene.
it's like a the big bag of dog food that you have to carry over your shoulder. It's like that.
Yeah, it's 2 feet by like 2 feet by 3 inches by a third of an inch.
And metal.
I don't want to move it. I want to turn it around so I can see it. I wanted to extrapolate from its shape if it was part of a symbol or a greater form as it was described. Like if it was part of a sigil or a form on the wall, I want to try to see if I can extrapolate that.
It was definitely part of a bigger work.
Okay. Like
Uh,
from the curve of it, I wanted to know if it was a big circle or if it was like some more complex shape or something like that.
um, it's relatively rectangular in shape, aside from some protrusions off of it.
Okay.
but it's definitely like broken at each end.
Okay. So it was a mostly straight line.
You would guess.
Okay.
But at that note, since we're at 11:15, as you guys are debating whether you should get the cops and make sure that the cops know that you didn't have anything to do with this, from
Cop show up.
no, but from upstairs, like you guys are in the storeroom in the basement, and from upstairs, kind of echoing through the hallway, you can hear a very high pitched scream.
Great.
All right.
But that's where we will end it for this session.
Damn it.
We
Awesome
really
session.
need to warn Professor.
Thing with Call of Cthulhu is, the mystery starts and then it's like, okay, and then it'll start to compound. But
Everything starts rolling downhill.
everything starts rolling downhill. But on your, let me see if I can do this. Character creation.
I do have a knuckle to roll, a knuckle score. I wanted
excellent.
I was wondering if I was able to glean anything from that gold bar.
Not with a cult, but possibly with a skill that you're not allowed to have at this point.
Okay, I mean from the explanation that Anita gave us from the notes.
Yeah, you could. There's a high possibility it was a ward, but it's no sort of ward that you're familiar with.
Okay.
It's definitely not part of one now.
Because I think I have enough knuckle skill to discuss this with Anita. That's what I'm going for.
In case
Somebody
I
won't look at me like I'm nuts. That's
Chris,
great.
just as an FYI,
That's why I wanted to do something about that, so I'd have something to talk with her about.
on the same vein, next week I am on vacation.
Yeah, I think you mentioned last week. Yeah.
Right. I will try to attend. I cannot guarantee how contributive I will be. I do want to do one thing that I would like to start at the end of this at the beginning of next session, no matter whether I'm here or not.
Okay.
Is when we go upstairs, we will pause at the door with the greasy hair thing, and I will have people take a look at it because that's not information that I want to keep to myself, and I was hoping to get to that before we move on.
Gotcha. Yep.
Especially if we remember Luis Mendoza at the table was greasy and smelly, and there's greasy and smelly hair, and the guy's name is Luis Mendoza in the notebook. Like,
Yep.
it's an important piece of information that I don't.
Absolutely. Perfect. All right. So before we go, the last thing at the end of the session, if you open your character sheet, I've clicked on development phase. So over on the left-hand column, you should see a thing that says recover luck points.
Okay.
We're not going to worry about skills, but you guys do get to roll to see if your luck goes up.
I just pushed a button because it said something about my skills, and spot hidden was in gold, and I clicked the button, and now spot hidden is not in gold.
Yep, I can reactivate your spot hidden.
Hey, I made a roll.
What does that do?
I did not recover any luck,
Right.
but that's okay.
So when we do an actual development phase, any skills that you have successfully used will have a gold star beside them. And then when you hit the development phase, it'll make the rolls to see if those skills increase or not.
Oh, it looks like it did it anyway. I'm just looking at the menu bar.
Yep. It does all the rolls and automation and everything for you. So
spot hidden was not upgraded, so you don't need to reactivate it. Luck was recovered by 5 points.
yeah. Well, whether you increase it or not, the check mark on the skill still goes away.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh,
So-
we didn't. We should not have click on development. We needed to click on lock phase.
Yep, that's okay. I can put your skills back because none of them
Okay,
went.
because I click on the wrong thing.
Yep,
I
no
keep
worries.
clicking luck recovered, and it's okay. My bad.
Yeah,
So
because so for the luck, that's not recovered because you rolled a 39 out of your current luck of 42.
Yeah, but if you go up, it's because I clicked on it too many times. The button's not going away. If you go to the first luck roll I did, it says recover luck by 5 points. And then I kept clicking on that little recover luck button because it was there. I didn't think it was working because I wasn't on the screen.
Yeah, so no worries. So your luck,
I was at 33.
yeah,
Excuse me. I was at 30. It looks like my luck went up to 32.
yeah, no worries. I can go back and fix that.
My luck skill does not go up though, right? I still cap at 30, correct?
No.
Oh.
The 30 is where you start.
Oh, nice. So the 5 points puts me at 32. Fantastic.
I seem to have gained some luck.
Me too. Finally made a roll.
Perfect.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Yep. All right.
Have a good night.
So have a good night. Have a good vacation. We'll see people tomorrow for Forbidden Lands, and we'll see people next week for the now that you guys have the first clue in this mystery. We'll pick up and see where things go.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
All
Have
right,
a good
take
night,
care,
folks.
everybody.
Night,
Good
guys.
night.
everything.